Remember that one time when our favorite team came from behind to win just seconds on the clock? Remember that one time that your girlfriend said yes and is now your wife? Remember that one time when you were super sick and couldn't figure out what it was and then got the results of a test and found out that you will live? Remember that one time you decided to graduate high school and found out it was worth it? Remember that one time?
Currently rocking in the school of life. He is here talking about stuff and whatever's going on in his brain. You know it is 100% Bridget!
All right, here I am. It's me talking about living life and loving Jesus. So here we go for another Friday or whatever day you happen to be listening. It's me again. So here we go. Let's get some stuff out of the way. If you like the t-shirt I'm wearing, make sure to click the link down below for our merchandise. If you're watching me on YouTube right now, make sure to hit the like button, the subscribe button, and ring the bell so that you know what's coming next. And if you prefer the audio versions of these, I'm available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, and I'm also available on Facebook, so make sure to check me out there. And if you can't find anywhere else for me if you want to make it easy on yourself to find me, just go to 100richard.com, and I'm right there. And real quick, if you're a bearded guy, make sure to go to wildbull.shop. Check out their beard butter. They have beard oil. They have beard wash. They got a bunch of great stuff specifically for that. They got t-shirts, hats, and all kinds of man products. They got soap, the whole shebang. So make sure to go to wildbull.shop. Own your game. All right. So here we go. Let's just get into this. If you're still here with me after the intro and all that other junk, then I'm going to talk about something that's kind of interesting. So I'm going to talk about this phrase. Remember that one time? There's always something in our lives that will stick to us. A moment that might have changed our lives. When we're with our friends, that moment connects us. That moment that you will never forget. Remember that one time is a phrase that will always come up in a conversation that is usually attached to a memory that made a difference. A memory that may have elevated you to the next level during that time. A critical stage, a defining moment, an important occasion. A moment that changed your direction in life would be a remember that one time moment. And living life loving Jesus starts with a remember that one time moment. Remember that one time when I received Jesus as my Lord and Savior and it sent me on a journey that will never end? I look at it like this. Defining moments always elevate you in some way, shape, or form. A moment of fear when you're in the hospital and your life is in the balance. You don't know what's really happening. There's nothing but bad news. But you remember that one time Jesus took the straps on his body for your healing. You remember that one time that the man was lowered from a ceiling by his friends and Jesus healed him because of his friends' faith? That's a cool story in the Bible. You should go look it up. I believe it's in Mark off the top of my head. You see, because when that man was lowered down, his friends took him. And if you're laying in the hospital sick and you look up and you see all your friends around you, just imagine their faith. When you come up out of that situation, suddenly knowing how much you are worth to God because you remember that one time that he sent his son to die on a cross for you, and your fear leaves. Maybe you remember that one time your girlfriend called and said she was pregnant, and you don't know what to do next. And you go ahead and take on that responsibility to be a father, and then you come to marry that woman. And 32 years later, you look back on how your life actually became better and how God turned what you thought was a bad thing to good. Jesus can do all things you think you can't. The reality is that if you know him, you can do all things too. There is nothing impossible for him. And you are his vessel, his hands and feet on this earth. There will always be struggles in life. And when we find ourselves on the other side of these struggles because God got us through, that is when a remember that one time moment is created. And as often as we say, forget your past, some of our past that remember that one time moment, we can reflect upon and help launch us into the next place in life. Because God is the God of the impossible. He can truly do the things that people think are crazy. And he does them through us every single day. During the Exodus, Moses was able to part the Red Sea just by raising his staff high enough for his followers to walk across on dry land. And this shows how powerful the faith in God is. That's Exodus 14:21. Abraham and Sarah had been waiting for years and years for their son Isaac, but they still believed that God would give them a child. Genesis 17:15-17. Moses was able to turn a shepherd's stick into a snake. The Pharaoh sent his magicians to reproduce the act. This is because God worked through Moses to perform this miracle. And what's funny is that Moses' staff, when it turned into a snake, ate their staffs while they were trying to figure this out. I'm pretty sure that these guys all said at some point, dude, remember that one time when the sea split in two? Or maybe, remember that one time we had a kid and we were like 1,000 years old? Because God is truly the God of the impossible. Just think of all the times that God intervened in your life on your behalf to keep you moving forward in life. What amazing things can God do through us if we're just willing to let him bring the impossible out of us? I remember a time, that one time, I felt like all things were lost. I lost my awesome job. We had no finances coming in. I lost my car and came really super close to losing my house. The struggle was absolutely real. God turned this into a remember that one time moment for me. I got a phone call from the pastor of the church that I was attending at the time, and somebody gave a large sum of money to my family to help pay my bills that were piling up. One thing about this situation is that even though we were in a tough spot, I never gave up on what God could do. And sure enough, he came through. He always does, and he never fails. A miracle happened through a willing vessel that kept us from losing everything. And I believe that person tells their end of the story like this. I remember that one time when I was able to help this family, because remember that one time goes both ways. In this case, I was blessed and they were the blessing. And we just have to be able to do the things in faith and see what God does. When you believe something with all your heart, it shows through everything you say and do. You radiate this to everyone around you. Your life becomes a testament to others of how great God works. Let your face shine like a light for God so that others may know about him too. And then they can say, remember that one time? Right on, right on.